Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope the week's going well for all of you out there. No complaints here. It's actually a nice day, but it's a little bit warmer than I would like it to be in February. We're actually 80, 81 degrees today. Early signs of spring, but got some cool weather coming back this weekend. So anyhow, today I want to talk about my number one raw vegan tip. Just a little kind of my philosophy on doing this lifestyle, if you will. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, why don't you go down there now and hit that subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel and come back and watch some more of my videos. This is a real basic one. Doing this thing over 10 years, I have seen some of the craziest stuff out there on this lifestyle. I've seen some of the most convoluted advice. And just quite frankly, I've seen a lot of things that over the years that I've been like, how could anyone fall for this? How could anybody go for this? I mean, what kind of a thought pattern is this? Feeding ourselves is a basic need. We've been doing it since the beginning of time. Every species must feed itself. And I don't know why we get in this mindset that for us humans, it's like supposed to be so complicated. Why? Just tell me why. Why are we so much different than every other species out there? You don't see animals in the wild, like they eat what they eat. They have their certain thing, but they're not like running around to do this and to do that and doing all this special stuff. They eat. They eat what they're supposed to eat. And that's about as the extent of it right there. So my number one raw vegan tip is, if it doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. If it sounds crazy to you, it probably is. As I've said many times before, I can be a little self-deprecating sometime. I was a drunk for many years. I've burned more brain cells than most people have, and my brain doesn't function all that well. But in 10 years, even coming from the place where I came from, eating the things that I ate, like, people don't get it twisted. Sometimes I'll get a comment or something on social media like I came onto this earth and I've never done any of these things. I've never eaten meat. I've never eaten all this kind of stuff. I've done all that stuff. But in the 10 years that I've been doing this lifestyle, a very high raw vegan diet, nothing that I'm doing, I don't do anything that I'm like, okay, well, so-and-so says you should do this. It just doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've put myself in charge from day one. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not trying to be cocky. That doesn't mean I don't know anything. That doesn't mean I haven't listened to other people. That doesn't mean that I don't continually research and, learn new stuff about this stuff and even change my opinion. That's something that in every area of life, people, that's just a flaw in humans. So many humans cannot change their mind. It's almost like it's a point of ego that, like, if you start doing something and then if you back away from that, you're weak or you're less than. I'm always open to new information. I'm always open to, something different that might work a little better for me. But like I say, I don't see it making any major changes. It's just always a little bit of a tweak here or a tweak there. But nothing like, number one, starving myself like a lot of these people do, that they deprive themselves. They live on juice, they live on liquids, all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff intuitively makes one bit of sense to me. It makes sense that when I'm hungry, I don't need to sit around hungry. If I'm sitting around hungry, if you're sitting around hungry doing this lifestyle, you're not doing it right. There's zero reason for a human being, just like any other species, if they have an abundant source of food, to sit around and be hungry or sit around and not be satisfied. Now, yes, you're not going to necessarily just jump into this. I'm not saying, you just jump into something and you don't have cravings or you don't have this or that. There is a process of switching over from eating standard American diet to eating like this, or even just standard American diet to a whole food plant-based diet. But it's really not that complicated. People make it more complicated. I tend to, like, certain language is a red flag for me, and that's another that just kind of feeds into this, and it has been ever since I've been, like, the first day I ever heard of a raw vegan diet. And some of these words, I do realize that they're valid, that they're legit, but it's like the way people use them. Anytime I have detox, one of my eyebrows goes up. I'm like, okay, well, what is about to come here? Because the people that are constantly detox, 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 they're talking some wacky shit. Pardon my language. Healing, detox, healing, fast, juice fast, cleansing, all these words, and any of the other woo-woo type words. Now, once again, yes, we are trying to heal our body, but it's just like the way that people use that and like the things that that generally leads to just doesn't resonate with me at all. I eat. I've been eating for 10 years. I'm going to keep eating for the next 10 years. I'm not fanatic about this lifestyle. If you're trying to chase it and be perfect, well, then you're always going to be a little bit disappointed because none of us are perfect. And as I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, we were talking about different people and some of the crazy things people do on this lifestyle. I will say one thing here. I came into this lifestyle relatively healthy. I'm relatively healthy now. I'm not, even though I think it's crazy, I do understand, and I'm not that terribly judgmental. People that have very serious health issues, people that are in pain, people that are suffering or have suffered for a long time, I understand that they're a little bit more susceptible to just kind of that attitude of, oh, I'll try anything. I've tried this, I've tried that, and you just want a little bit of relief. So in that circumstance, I'm a little bit more understanding. But just regular people, that actually do things that are detrimental to their health. And we see this all the time online. We see a lot of these, like, why do you think the attrition rate is what it is for raw vegans? Why do raw vegans not last all that long? Raw vegans don't last all that long because they aren't feeding their body properly. A lot are not getting the nutrition that they need. And if you're not getting the nutrition that you need, you're not going to be able to sustain this lifestyle. And that you see that a lot of the times with the people that are very, there's not a lot of variety. They eat just a few things and they're always, like talking about some purity or whatever. Number one tip. I know Lissa talks about this a lot, and a lot of my friends that I actually go to, I have conversations with, I chat with, I message with, we just all kind of fall on that diversity thing. Getting a lot of diversity in our gut microbiome is, in my opinion, probably the most important thing I learned, like in the last couple of years. I think I learned about fiber fueled and started watching more talks about that, and that sprung to me learning a little bit more on my own just about like how our gut operates and how it just influences our overall body health. I mean, this is really our second brain down here. So we need variety in there, and we need food, and we need good food that is going to satisfy us. But you're never going to get there by starving yourself. You're never going to get there. And before anybody comes at me, because every time I mention a cleanse or a fast or a juice fast, somebody comes out, bip, 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 but you need to do this. Okay, if you need to do one of these things or the other, do them. Do them in the very beginning. If you need to do something before you get started eating, do it. But don't get caught up in a cycle of fasting and cleansing and all that stuff, because all it is yo-yo. All the people that are, like most of the people that are doing a lot of fasting and cleansing, I guess they think they need to do that because they go back and forward, overcorrections. They juice and they fast too much, and then after a while it starts building up, and then they start eating garbage, and then their logic on that is, oh, well, let's do another fast to get rid of this garbage, and they never learn how to eat. You've probably heard me repeat that phrase right there over and over and over again. A lot of the cleansers, a lot of the fasters, a lot of the healers never actually learn how to eat. They don't get the nutrition, they don't get the nutrients that they need, and that's why they don't sustain. Oh, and then when it goes in the other way, and when they finally have had it, or some health issue comes in, or they just can't take being hungry all the time or depriving anymore, then most of them aren't vegan anymore. They go all the way off the track. They're not raw anymore, they're not vegan anymore. And on top of that, then they have to be preachers against the lifestyle, against eating like this. And it's all we're not supposed to be eating like this. It's like, no, you weren't supposed to be doing that wacky way of doing it like you were doing it. So, like I say, if it doesn't make sense to you, if it really fundamentally doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. don't do it, and question everything and question everybody. I don't put anybody up on a pedestal out there that they're like a total authority. So anyhow, just my 2 cents worth, sort of the philosophy of Jack on the raw vegan diet. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you at the end of the week. Peace.